While in America, I and many other people went to see the likes of Philomena, The King's Speech, Bridget Jones 3, Shut Up. But there's one thing for various reasons.
Okay, so but I believe there is a special connection between the UK and America, right? Something that for me I feel a bit off of on this conversation, but you guys really enjoy things from the UK, and people from the UK really enjoy things of America. Is that fair to say? Today I will be reacting to 5 ways British and American movie theaters are very different. Did I say that word correct? Theaters? Well, potato. But before I go into that, can I ask you for one thing? If you can leave a like, thank you so much, my friend. This is the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Now, link for the original video in my description. I love Lawrence. Give him some love. That said, let's play it.
In Britain, I always got the sense that we perceived this American reaction to blockbuster films as quite unusual because the actors aren't actually there to receive the applause.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to movie theatres/cinemas. We'll get onto terminology later.
Yeah, cinemas, that word is quite easier than the other one. Can we agree with that?
But as somebody who's been frequenting cinemas since 1987, when I went to see both Superman 4: The Quest for Peace and Masters of the Universe, 2 films criminally overlooked by the Academy, I've had my fair share of experience of cinemas in both Britain and America. And while cinema complexes in both countries do have things in common, such as the smell of popcorn and human there are also some subtle and not so subtle differences. Now, cinemas, of course, have taken something of a hit during the COVID-19 pandemic, but in the event that reports of their death are exaggerated, here are epic ways that British and American movies...
Just one thing, I totally agree with him. I think that was overreaction saying that cinemas are dead. I don't think that will happen even... I don't see it happen soon. You know what I mean? Because sure, maybe it will not be like the 90s or the 80s, but cinemas will always have a place in my opinion, because certain movies you want to watch there, and it's a good way actually to spend time, even if you have an amazing TV at home. I think they still have a place. Would you guys agree with that, by the way?
Movie theatres are very different. I suppose the first difference that I noticed when it comes to cinemas was that some of the cinema chains that I was used to in Britain either don't exist in the United States or just aren't as prominent. Back home, if you're looking for a multiplex cinema, you'll want to Google one of the big 3: Cineworld, View Cinemas, and Odeon. In the United States, the big 3 are completely and utterly a little bit different. Those are Cinemark theatres, Regal Cinemas, and the really big one, AMC, which happens to own Odeon in the United Kingdom. Personally, as somebody who doesn't choose his cinemas by brand name, but rather by whether they're showing the film that I want to watch, I don't really have a preference.
Just one thing, another one I know. I don't even know what are the brands here, to be honest. I just go to... First of all, I don't even go to the cinema that much. But when I go to the one on my city, and that's it. I don't even know what's the... It's just, sorry, that I would love to give some information on this, but I really don't know. Information then that I can provide you, my friends, is how we say cinema. I actually believe it's quite better than the way you guys pronounce it. Cinema. Sounds amazing, right? Cinema.
Either way, but I know that humans, being humans, probably do have strong feelings on this, so let me know in the comments below.
Yeah.
One thing I can definitely say about both British and American cinemas is that they both do pretty well about showing the other country's films. So for example, as a kid, I went to see Back to the Future 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Police Academy 6, while in America, I and many other people went to see the likes of Philomena, The King's Speech, Bridget Jones 3, Shut Up. But there's one thing for various reasons.
Okay, so but I believe there is a special connection between the UK and America, right? Something that for me I feel a bit off of on this conversation, but you guys really enjoy things from the UK, and people from the UK really enjoy things of America. Is that fair to say?
Or another that often gets changed. the title of the film. Down the road, I do intend to do what Americans call a deeper dive into this, but to whet your appetite, here's a brief list of films that were released under different names in Britain and America. 2017's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, was rebranded in the UK as Pirates of the Caribbean, Salazar's Revenge.
What?
On the other hand, the 2001 British-made film, The 51st State, was released in the United States as Formula 51, owing to the perception that the...
Okay, that's crazy, because this also happens with Portuguese, but that makes a bit more sense, because certain things we cannot translate that well, so we adapt. Sometimes we adapt too much, and there is titles that are completely bananas. But this is English, so I understand there is a difference between UK and America, but still it's kind of crazy to see this transformation of titles.
The original title would somehow be offensive to American audiences. Because in this context, the expression 51st State refers to America's perceived dominance over Britain. And, from experience, that's how most Americans see our relationship, so why on earth did they change it? One that's quite personal to me, having lived in the US state of Indiana, is the film Hoosiers. But because the term Hoosiers is a demonym for people from Indiana and is little known outside of the United States, this feel-good sports film was renamed Best Shot in the United Kingdom. And I only discovered recently that a film that was released when I was a kid called Bigfoot and the Hendersons was released under the slightly different name of Harry and the Hendersons in the United States. Now, there are an
But why? Bigfoot is okay?
absolute boatload of different title variations, so if you would like to learn more about these, subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when I begin my deeper dive.
Next.
And then, of course, there's the very important question of cinema snacks. And for Americans visiting Britain, don't worry, we do popcorn, hot dogs and soft drinks, although probably at a smaller size. Some cinemas will also allow alcoholic beverages. I suppose the major difference that really stood out to me was the type of candy and or sweets, as well as pre-packaged savoury snacks that you can pick up at concession.
I don't think you can buy alcohol here. At the cinema. I really don't, but I'm not sure, to be honest, as I don't go that much. But I don't think that's the case.
In America, you're more likely to find Doritos than you are KP Crisps. And when it comes to chocolate snacks, both countries might do M&Ms, but Britain also rolls out the Maltesers and various Cadbury products. Whereas the US has a line of candy that I'd never heard of before moving to the United States. So things like Milk Duds, Raisinets, Whoppers, Bunch of Crunch, and of course, Reese's Pieces.
Dude, that looks good.
Now, one thing that separates British moviegoers from their American counterparts is the way they show their appreciation for a rousing major blockbuster. In Britain, if we love the film, we don't really do anything except sit there in silence with an upper lip that remains as stiff as the acting in the Twilight Saga. We walk out. That's how I also do it here. And then we talk about the film in glowing terms.
Exactly.
In America, it can be different. I remember at the end of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, a film that is universally loved and isn't divisive whatsoever. Everybody in this Indianapolis cinema just stood up and applauded and cheered.
Really?
Like they were at a baseball game. I take that back. Nobody cheers at a baseball game. They just, talk to each other and drink beer. Now, I should clarify this reaction.
Oh my god, there was a movie I saw on the cinema that people actually applaud. It was the first time I experienced that, and for some reason I'm not remembering the movie. Damn, this is embarrassing because I thought this was... Now I may even have to edit the video to put the title. Damn it, I don't remember. But going back to the point, actually going back even to the last point. I just eat popcorn, sugar popcorn, that's it. I'm a basic person, so. About applauding, this is very rare. Very, very rare. There was a movie, this happens recently, probably, 5 years. But I don't remember. Man, that's embarrassing. Well, let's continue.
Action isn't normal for most movies, right? You're not going to see a whole room of people stand up and applaud the King's speech, although I did because, Britain.
Oh, I remember the movie. It was the Joker, and I believe they are making the Joker 2 with Joaquin something, right? But was the first one. It was the first time I saw people applauding in the cinema, and I thought it was a great movie actually.
You get 'em, George. But the big blockbusters with ultra-intense fan bases do tend to bring...
Actually, I should run that back, sorry.
See a whole room of people stand up and applaud the King's speech, although I did because, you know, Britain. You get 'em, George. But the big blockbusters with ultra-intense fan bases do tend to bring out that reaction. In Britain, I always got the sense that we perceived this American reaction to blockbuster films as quite unusual because the actors aren't actually there to receive the applause. And it gets me wondering, right, at the end of my videos, do Americans clap? Don't answer that. I don't want to know either way. And we can hardly talk about the differences between British and American movie theatres without discussing the words that each country uses to navigate it. Firstly, there's the building itself. Throughout this video, you've heard me interchangeably use the words movie theatre and cinema. Cinema perhaps being the most prominent word for this in the United Kingdom. While in the United States, where cinema is used to a lesser extent, movie theatre is more common.
Movie theaters. Okay, that word is difficult, damn it. Cinema.
It's worth noting in this case that theatre is famously spelled differently from how it would be in Britain, where we've retained the old French spelling. However, even though I knew this difference when moving to America, I was surprised to find that America often retains the old French spelling.
Okay, so that's the... Okay. This word translating to Portuguese, again, I'm never sure if you guys care about this or not. Teatro is teatro. So it's actually quite similar.
When referring to the type of theatre that has a stage with actors who can appreciate your applause. Of course, Americans might also simply say, we went to the movies. And for
I like that even better. Easier.
For me, an equivalent of this in Britain is when we say, we went to the pictures.
Yeah,
because,
the
you know,
pictures.
a movie is just moving pictures.
No,
Either
that's
way,
right.
there's a pretty good reason that Brits are less likely to say the movies or movie theatre. And that's because we're less likely to use the word movie itself.
Oh,
Instead,
film.
we often refer to a movie as a film, or less commonly, a flick. And there are two other cinema-related words that are less commonly used these days, but were all the rage when I was a kid. The first is a word to describe a break midway through a film, in which, you know, you head to the loo or pick up extra refreshments, ideally not at the same time. In Britain, we always called this the interval, whereas in
That's crazy because the word in Portuguese is intervalo. But I like it. I like break a bit more than interval. Intermission sounds weird.
America, it's known as the intermission.
Oh, I like break.
And time was when cinema going was so popular that people would line up down the streets just to get in the building. In the north of England, a common refrain for this was, we had to queue up around the corner. Whereas in America, it might be something like, the line ran for 3 blocks. Contrary to popular belief, by the way, this likely didn't inform the origin of the word blockbuster, which seems to have derived from the name of an aerial bomb capable of destroying whole blocks of buildings. And, you know, maybe that gives rise to why people describe things like Superman 4: The Quest for Peace as a box office bomb. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you frequented cinemas in either countries and what your thoughts were. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS.
Oh, this was a great one.
Subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. A massive
Okay, give all the support to Lawrence. Let me just do a quick recap on this. Yeah, this one I personally do not care that much. I go to the cinema on my city and that's it. The movie films, okay, this was interesting. The titles is kind of crazy. Can we agree with that? Sorry for doing this recap, but I always want to see the best points. Okay, applause. Yeah, the applause thing. It's a bit weird. Because he's right. The actors are not there. What are we actually applauding? The screen? You know what I mean? But in the other end, I feel like this is kind of beautiful because we all end up sharing that moment together and we are kind of celebrating. I think that's the point on applauding. Not sure if you guys agree with that or not, but at least that's my idea. That said, my friends, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot that you guys end up spending this time with me. Do not forget to leave a like. Do not forget to subscribe. See you guys next time.